name is Ejiah, and I'm with the City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks. Welcome to Rec Connect, where we provide free, fun, online classes and activities for all ages. When you can't come to the park, we bring the park to you. Today, I'm at Barrington Recreation Center in the beautiful community of Brentwood. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a reusable mask at home with a sewing machine. We're going to talk about what you're going to need to make a mask at home using a sewing machine. You're going to need fat quarters. If you don't have fat quarters, you have fabric left over from an old project, you can use that. If you don't have that, you can use a pair of old jeans or a shirt from the closet. Preferably 100% cotton because that helps keep particles inside. You're going to need your cutting utensils, a pair of scissors or a rotary cutter if you have one, elastic, pattern weights, a needle and thread, pins to pin my fabric together while I'm sewing. Most of all, you're going to need your pattern. This pattern I got from Mimi G Style. You can find her on mimigstyle.com. Click on her YouTube page and it'll take you directly to the pattern right now. If you don't have all these things, you can improvise. The first thing you're going to do, I'm using a fat quarter here, so it's a small piece of fabric. You take your fat quarter, you fold it in half, right sides facing. Okay? You take your pattern, you're going to lay it on top of your fabric. I like to lay mine at the edge of the fabric so that I can utilize as much fabric as I can without being wasteful. This is the original pattern. If you have a bigger face and you need more room, you can just add an inch at the bottom of your pattern. So I'm going to fold that back over and make a regular size. I'm going to take my pattern weights, place them on top so that I can cut out my pattern. Straight lines help a lot. Unlatch the safety, and I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to turn on my safety, take my weights off, set them to the side, and now I have my first pattern. Your pattern, it says cut 2. There's a line that goes down the pattern on the side. You're going to cut 2 to this length, and then you're going to cut 2 to this length. So how I preserve paper, instead of having 2 pieces of paper, I just fold this over, move down, get my fabric pattern weights. So I've cut out my second pattern. You need one for the inside and the first one was for the outside. As you can see here, it says cut 2. So you're going to cut 2 the short way and you're going to cut 2 the long way. And here I have it. I have my long and I have my short. You want to pin your edges together. If you need to pin all the way down your pattern, that's fine too. Then we're going to start at the tip and we're going to sew all the way down to the bottom. Lower my needle. Take this pin out. You're gonna leave about just 3/16 of an inch, less than a quarter, for your seam allowance. Seam allowance is from this point to the point where your needle lands. Sew forward, make sure to back stitch. All my sewers know to back stitch, lock your stitch into place, and then go ahead and sew this baby down. Move your pins as you go. When you get to the bottom, you're going to stop and you're going to backstitch. Now, if you're at home and you don't have a sewing machine, you can do this by hand. And we're going to do the same thing for the second piece. Now that we have our 2 pieces, we've sewn our edges together, we're going to take these 2 pieces and we're going to bring our right sides together. So you're gonna open up this one, open up your second one, and we're gonna pin those tops together. Now here's where you would use heat if you wanted to. I'm not gonna use it for this demonstration, but for all my sticklers that like to sew at home, if you want to iron your edges, trim them down, however you would like to do it. I'm just going to fold one side over and fold this side over, the tips, and I'm gonna pin it into place. So this is the top, and I'm gonna pin them together so that we can sew them together. I'm gonna go ahead and pin the bottom so that you can see how your edges, your tips should meet. You have your top, you have the bottom. You're gonna take the bottom, you're gonna find the two seams, and you're gonna line them up. I'm gonna fold one to this side and one to that side. And I'm gonna pin it into place. Now we're gonna move on to the next step. We're gonna sew the top of our mask. Okay, right side's facing. You should have pinned everything into place so it doesn't move while you're sewing. I'm gonna turn it this way. If you want at home, you can use two different fabrics, one for the inside and one for the outside, so you can tell the difference, especially when you're wearing it. But for this example, I'm just using the same fabric for both. So I'm going to sew with my presser foot. Let's pull this pin out. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did in the earlier part. I'm gonna sew forward, remove my pin. I'm gonna backstitch to lock this into place. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sew. Now, I'm gonna move on to the bottom. You're gonna do the same thing you did for the top. All right. So now you should have sewn the top and you should have sealed the bottom. Okay? Now we're gonna take this mask and we're gonna turn it right side out. We're moving on to our next step. So you have what is forming into a mask. You're gonna take these outside panels. This was the long side. This is why we cut two, one shorter than the other. You're gonna fold over once, then you're gonna fold over again. Be careful, kids. This is where having an adult present is really important so we don't stick ourselves, okay? And you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so what you should have is this. One side folded over, folded again, pinned into place. The other side, same thing, folded over once, folded over again, and pinned into place. And we're gonna sew as close as we can to this edge. And you should have this. This is where our elastic is gonna go through. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Take your scissors, trim off your extra thread if you have it. All right, and you can see what you have here is a mask. So we're gonna string our elastic through our mask. So I have a safety pin. If you don't have a safety pin, be creative. Use a paper clip, use something else. But I'm gonna stick my safety pin through my elastic here, and I'm gonna use this to string it through. This is 22 inches of elastic. Typical head will fit 22 inches. If you're making this for somebody with a larger head or a smaller head, you can size it to that measurement. This is not gonna go around your ears. This is actually gonna go around your entire head. Last and final step would be to sew your elastic together using a zigzag stitch on your machine, or you can sew elastic by hand. If you did it on the machine, you got your zigzag stitch. If you sewed it by hand, either way, you've locked your thread into place. And now what you have is a mask. Whatever is comfortable, you can put it underneath your ears. I suggest that you make more than one for you and your families, because every day when you're done, you want to give this a good wash. Wash it in the machine or wash it by hand. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to check out the rest of our Rep Connect videos. You can find us online at laparks.org.